Jai Ho, my dear students. I am Ratnakar Suryavanshi from SK Public School. In the last class, we have learnt about the types of resources. What we have learnt? The types of resources. Mainly, I told you that on the basis of 4 factors, resources are divided into various categories. Correct, no? So obviously, we have learned that on the basis of development, I told you that actual and potential, and on the basis of origin, I told you that biotic and abiotic, as well as we have studied that on the basis of exhaustibility also resources are divided into 2 types. Those are renewable and non-renewable. As well as I told you on the basis of distribution also resources are divided into 2 types. Which are those 2 types? Ubiquitous and localized. So those all the types we have learned. But say the natural resources are distributed unequally over the earth. Say natural resources are distributed unequally over the earth. Why natural resources are distributed unequally? See, unequally. Natural resources are distributed unequally over the earth. Why? Because see the natural factors, the factors like terrain, climate, or it may be altitude, etc. are vary from one place to another place, which means the distribution of natural resource depending upon physical factors. I mean the distribution of natural resources depending upon some physical factors. Some physical factors. Important physical factors. Important physical factors are climate, as well as terrain, and as well as altitude. See, altitude means you know that height above the sea level is called as altitude. Altitude means height above the sea level. Climate means you know that already. Then terrain. Terrain means physical features. I mean the physical features of or the geographical features of one area is completely different from another area. That is what we call terrain here. So the factors like climate, terrain, and altitude, on these factors the distribution of resource is depending. So these all the factors vary from one place to another place, one area or one region to another region. Because of that, resources, natural resources are unequally distributed over the earth. So this is all about natural resource. Now let's come to the another point. As I told you that mainly natural resources are divided on 4 factors we have learned, but all the resources are divided into 3 types. As I already studied, first one we have completed about which one? Natural resources. This point we have already completed, but today we are going to learn about which one? About human made resources. Today we are going to learn about human made resources. See, sometimes natural substances become resources only when their original form has been changed. I mean sometimes substances or things can become resources only when their original form has been changed. I mean to some substances, to make them as resources, to use them as resources, there is a need to modify those substances or those things to make them resources. It is required. For example, see, iron wasn't a resource. Iron wasn't a resource until human learned to extract iron from it. Iron, see, iron, it is a mineral, correct? No, iron is extracted from iron ore. Iron is extracted from iron ore. I feel you are understanding. See that iron wasn't a resource until human learned to extract iron from the iron ore, which means modification was done, original form was changed here. So in this way some substances can be resources only when their original form has been changed. For example, I am telling bauxite ore to aluminium. I mean, aluminium wasn't a resource until human learned to extract aluminium from its raw material called bauxite. Bauxite, it is the ore. From bauxite, we get aluminium. So in this way, to make some substances as resources, there is need to change their original form. I mean, there is a need to make much modifications in them to use them as resources. And even say technology and even human resource. Technology also played a very important role here to make or to change the original form of the resources. This is also important here. And even see, time is also important. Time and technology both are important to change the original form of substances, to make them as, or to utilize them as resources. Now, this is all about human-made resource. Now coming to one more important point, that is human resource or human resources. See, now we will learn about human resources. You know that without human, no substance is called as resource. Without human, no substance is called as resource. Why? Because if we are not here, then who would use those substances as resources? Nobody. So that's why only human resource can play a very important role using the substances as resources. So human resource develops, or human resource here, human resource refers to all number. I mean, human resource refers to the number or quantity, and abilities means mental ability as well as physical ability of the people. See, human resource means quantity here, number. That is what we call quantity. Quantity and the abilities. Quantity and abilities. Both are important here. Quantity and abilities. Human resource refers to the quantity, to what? To the quantity and abilities. To this human resource refers. That too of the people. Quantity, number, total number, and abilities of the people. Which are those abilities? It may be physical or it may be mental. Physical and mental abilities, and the quantity, I mean number of the people, refers to the human resource. Human resource means this only. Human resource is the quantity and the abilities, including mental and physical ability of the people. This is what we call human resource. And see here, human have skills. Human have skills a lot. You know that humans have, or human beings have skills of transferring the physical material into a valuable resource. I mean, we have ability, we have skill to make any substance, to use any substance as a resource. We can make any substance or we can transfer anything as a resource. That ability, that skill is there with human beings. And even see, when people have skill, technology and knowledge, they can make the best use of nature to create more resources. When human or when people have knowledge, skill as well as technology. Knowledge, skill and technology. When people have knowledge, skill and technology, they can make the best use. They can make the best use of this nature and produce more resources and create more resources. So even see, education as well as health also important. Education and health of the people are very valuable. Education and health of the people make people a valuable resource. Health is also important as well as education. I mean, knowledge, skill, etc. Those are also required. And improving the quality of people's skills so that so that they are able to create more resources is known as human resource development. See, now we will see about human resource development. Then how to develop the human resource? Only increasing the population is not the development of human resource. Human resource development means improving the quality of people's skills, so that they are able to create more resources, improving the quality of the skills of the people, as well as making them able to create more resources, This is called, or it is known as human resource development. So this is all about natural resources as well as human resources, and then human made resources, and then human resources. So here we learned about human resource development also. So in the next class we will learn about conserving resources. I mean, what are the steps to be followed? What is resource conservation? What is sustainable development? What are the principles of sustainable development? And how to conserve the natural resources. About all these things we will study in the next class. Thank you. Jai Hind.